Ha ha! I've got you now, Owens. Ah, hello, Triple H. Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days, welcome to this week's Raw review, and let's just get straight to it. We need to talk about the big moment, one of the biggest moments in Raw history. Nia Jax up against Heyman. Now, Heyman seemed like a really nice girl, but Nia Jax came down, smashed her apart, massive clothesline, threw her into the corner. She absolutely destroyed the girl, absolutely destroyed her. Another big win for Nia Jax. I am of course joking. What an end to Raw. What an end to Raw. Honestly, I've got the whole video. I don't think I'll bother uploading it, but I've got the 20-odd minute video of my reactions to the whole main event. And I'll tell you, throughout it, I was disagreeing with the crowd. The crowd was saying this is awesome. I didn't think it was. I thought it was very slow at times. I thought Big Cass came across as like really dominant at the start. A couple of big boots, couple of big strikes. He gave the big boot to Roman on a couple of occasions. I honestly thought Roman's head was going to come off. It felt slow. There wasn't really that many impressive spots in the match. It wasn't a great surprise Big Cass got the first elimination. Or was eliminated first. I kind of expected that. And then we got down to the three, but who expected what was next? Triple H goes after Roman. I get it, yeah. I think we all understood that bit. And then it comes down to Seth against Kevin Owens. Who saw Triple H turning on Seth? Because I didn't. And if you did, more power to you, because I didn't. And he turns on Seth. I have no idea why. I don't know if they're going to go with the angle of Kevin Owens recently, if you will, or more recently came through NXT. That's obviously Triple H's baby, so maybe he's, going to go with that angle. He still sees Kevin Owens as a NXT guy. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe he feels let down by Seth. Perhaps he doesn't think, Seth, perhaps he feels that Seth abandoned him when he got injured. I think there's lots that they can do with this. Have we now seen a Seth face turn? Well, we must have, because this is clearly building towards Triple H against Seth Rollins. And I think it's good. I think that it's going to give Seth something to do. I think it's going to keep Seth away from Kevin Owens. Who's Kevin going to feud with? I kind of hope not Sami Zayn. I don't think it would be Roman, because Roman's going to be caught up with Rusev. I don't think it'll be Big Cass, because he's kind of out of the picture, if you will, with Enzo and, chasing the tag titles. Face Jericho might make sense. I love the work that Jericho's been doing. I absolutely love the work that in the review today, I really praise his backstage promo. But I'm struggling to see who Kevin Owens is going to feud with other than Sami Zayn. And I really hope it doesn't go that way. Cesaro's obviously tangling with Sheamus at the moment. Braun Strowman, I think, is heel. He's so dominant, he comes across as a heel. Just kind of running out of options, I suppose. Neville would be awesome. That would be awesome. But I don't know. For me, Kevin Owens wins. Absolutely fantastic. I would love Samoa Joe to come in and interfere. I don't know where we are with Joe's dislocated jaw, and to have Joe come in as a big face, this monster. I just think that would be epic. That really would be epic. That would be a great call-up just to replace Balor whilst Balor's away for 6 months. And I would like to see that. I really would like to see that. I think Seth has got, as we said, Seth's got a feud. Big Cass is going to be fine. Roman's got a feud. Let's get Samoa Joe up. Let's get Samoa Joe up, even if he has to talk and cut promos for a couple of weeks. I don't know how long it's going to take his jaw to heal, but Kevin needs a big feud. And I think having a Jericho next to him as a heel, I think would be really cool. Yeah, just imagine it. Just imagine it. It's going to be insane. I cannot wait for next week's Raw. They have, with that one move, knocked it out of the park. Now, this week's Raw in particular, I thought was good. The undercard was a bit flat, if I'm being honest, but it more than made up for it for the main event. You know, like a UFC event where you've got this killer main event, and then the rest of the card, it just doesn't matter, does it? You know, when you're watching one of those shows, don't know about you, sometimes I might skip the first couple of matches and, you know, go and have a drink, maybe get something to eat, come in, is the main event on yet, you know? It's like, you're not really that fussed by it, or I'm not anyway. I check in with the other boxers and whatnot if it's like a boxing event, but you buy it for the main event, you buy it for Mayweather against Pacquiao, or you buy it for Diaz against McGregor if it's UFC. You tuned in for this one match, and it did not disappoint. As I said at the start, I thought it was slow, but then I thought it did get awesome. And certainly with that Triple H thing, it'll long live in the memory. Do you remember that match on Raw when Triple H basically gifted the Universal Championship to Kevin Owens? It is going to be one that we look back on. No two ways about it. And it's always exciting when that happens. So yes, they smashed it out of the park. I wasn't keen on the start with the interview thing. I thought that they kind of stumbled through it. It was just a bit of filler for the start, just to hype the main event. Loved the backstage Bayley New Day thing with Dana and Gallows and Anderson ultimately creating that match. I thought that was quite an interesting promo. Or little backstage segment. Bayley's such a great fit with the New Day, so that was really cool. The other backstage segment that I thought was really cool was Jericho. As we said at the start, you know, the way that he was teasing he's gonna get it, but he didn't deliver it in the end. He just said no. Instead, I'm gonna give him the gift of Jericho. You know, he's got that many little catchphrases now and things that he can do. He can take you down one path and then switch it on you, and it's just so engaging. I think Jericho and the Bayley New Day backstage bits just showed what that first opening segment could have been. And for me, it did fall short, that opening bit. Jericho versus Neville, I thought also fell short. I like the win for Jericho. The Lion Tamer looked vicious, and I liked how Neville tried to do his power German suplex again, but it got reversed. We are seeing a nice variety from Neville. I've said this before, but for me, this wasn't a match that really helped him kick on. It was a good showcase for Neville, but I don't know. It seemed like something was missing. I don't know if Jericho was playing the comedy act maybe a little bit too much. You know, there was a bit where he's hiding behind the ref and whatnot, and I don't know if it needed that. I think Neville needs a bit of help. You know, looking dominant, looking, you know, like not a monster, but you know, he's a great striker. He's great in the air, and I really want him to kick on. I want him to get an opportunity to, you know, face for a title or be in this vicious feud or anything. I just don't think this week's match really helped him, and certainly not picking up a loss to Jericho. There's no shame in that, but you know, Neville for me could be a future champion, but you've got to book him right. This wasn't right. Nia Jax versus Heyman, as we said, you know, squash. Sami Zayn against Jinder Mahal, bit flat. Sami just really selling that injury and, you know, picked up the victory with a haluva, but I wasn't really into it. Sasha calling Charlotte a coward for no reason was a bit flat as well. You know, she was trying to make something out of nothing. She lost clean, and there was no Dana. There was no Ric Flair interference. Didn't really get it. Charlotte said as well. I don't know why she's calling me a coward. But we got the New Day Bayley against Dana and Gallows and Anderson. This was a good match. This was fun. This was action-packed. Lots of energy. A drop kick to Anderson from Bayley. They came back from the ad break, and they went to the commentary table, and they're all sat there just kind of looking, going, right, we're in the middle of a match now, and we've got Charlotte with us, and what are you doing? go, what are you doing? They're working in the ring, and you're going to go back to the commentary table to do what? Set a scene that you could have set just talking anyway. Charlotte's, I didn't get it. I hope that's not something they're going to start doing. I don't know if there was a reason for it, if there was a reason why they couldn't show us the ring when they came back from the ad break, but I didn't understand. Bayley to Belly on Dana picks up the victory. Doesn't really further anything. Doesn't lead to anything. I'm sure at Backlash we'll get New Day against Gallows and Anderson again, and hopefully we get Bayley against Charlotte. Maybe it's building towards that. It did make me think, can you imagine how miserable the bus must be, because Ziggler and Dana, I believe, are still an item. You know, Ziggler, granted, just got a bit of a push, but he didn't get the title. So, you know, he must be pretty down about it all. And Dana's just getting beaten from pillar to post. She must be pretty down about it all. Can't be a fun place to be with those two at the moment. Sheamus against Cesaro, it was fine. It wasn't amazing. 2-0 now to Sheamus, which I think is right. And you'll see Cesaro pretty soon make that comeback. Maybe they go 3-0 Sheamus and then Cesaro levels it. Or maybe we see the start of the comeback from Cesaro next time. But 2-0 I think is the right way forward. Americo, I thought he was awesome. Great costume on Americo. Again, I think it was Corey said he reminded him of Max Moon. But Americo against Braun Strowman. Squash match. Didn't count for anything, but I don't know. I really like. I miss gimmicks and I miss characters, and they don't have to be extreme. You know, I'm not saying let's bring back Adam Bomb, who walks around like a nuclear reactor, or let's bring back the Warlord or anything like this. But I just think that in a world now where you've got just Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, they're just people. You know, they don't really have a gimmick, if you will. I really enjoyed seeing like Americo in his kind of American suit and his American mask. He had stars and stripes and all that kind of stuff. It was a change, and it was a nice little change. He got absolutely battered though, absolutely battered. And at the end as well, Strowman ripping off the mask. I mean, you just don't do that to a luchador. And again, this is what I'm saying. They're doing a good job of giving Strowman not just squash matches, but it's highlighting that he's got a bit of something about him. You know, he doesn't respect the history, the culture. Yeah, I beat you. This is mine now. And I liked it. Fantastic package for Mr. Fuji. Really did enjoy that. Like that Fuji Vice, it made me want to go onto the network and watch that with him and Don Morocco. Because I'll be honest, I've not seen those. I'm dropping my notes. I've not seen them. I can't remember the other one. Was it Fuji Hospital or something? I mean, they looked cheesy as hell. They looked awful, but they looked awful in an entertaining way for me. So yeah, I thought they did a fantastic job. Another kind of segment they did a fantastic job of, Heyman, Stephanie McMahon. I didn't understand it though. I didn't understand what they were trying to achieve, because all it needed to be was Heyman going out there, paying the fine, apologising, Steph accepting, done. And it would make sense. But Heyman went out there with a bit of an edge. Talking about how you tell me that I'm going to face the Storm. Well, Brock Lesnar is the Storm. And he was answering Steph back. And then when he paid the fine, he paid in singles. Yeah, and he was getting the crowd to shout along with him. And to be honest, right, I actually thought that was they were hundreds, which would have been amazing, right? And it would have been much better if he'd have gone, I'm really sorry, yeah, cut out the attitude, apologised from his heart and said, I will pay the $500 fine, whips out 10 grand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. I'm ever so sorry. And he's still holding like 9,900. No. See, you can see why I'm an idiot. I can't even do simple maths. $9,500. I'd still be holding that. I'm ever so sorry. And it's a great way of saying, this means nothing to me. But instead, like, it was the arrogance of counting out singles, but then equally trying to be sincere in apology. I just didn't get the segment. It was a mess. But I thought it was still engrossing enough to be entertaining. Basically she accepts the apology. Next we had Darren Young against Titus O'Neil. I put in my notes for this that this should have been a main event. You know, they're really trying to build these guys. It's a good feud. I like the feud. I love the fact that Bob Backlund's in the corner. There's no reason why, you know, you can't have a couple of different faces main event in a Raw. You know, you just do your normal closing segment before and then have these two come out. Problem is, the match was awful. It was absolutely awful. And it pains me to say that because I really want to see Darren Young succeed. But there was a lot of like submission rest holds. There was very little pace to the match. There was a nice moment where Titus hurls Darren Young into the corner. He goes over the top and onto a cameraman. Not sure if that was, you know, meant to happen or whatever, but yeah, it was awful and a very cheap, rubbish looking roll-up victory for Darren Young. Bob Backlund jumps in, they're all celebrating. It was rubbish. So I don't know where they go from here. I really don't. This feud has not made Darren Young look great again. So yeah, I'm a little worried about that one. And then we get Mick Foley apologising to Steph, saying let's keep everyone from ringside, you and me will go down for the main event. And as we said, we've already spoke about the main event and it was absolutely incredible. Don't know where we go from here. Fascinated to see next week's Raw. I think they've done a brilliant job. They took what could have just been a normal match and just made it, you know, biblical. Personally, I would have enjoyed it a little more, and I did say this in my reaction video, but as I said, I've not uploaded all of it. I would have enjoyed a Royal Rumble. I think they could have done a mini Royal Rumble and yeah, just have 10 people in it. 10 people, mini Royal Rumble. Could have got down to Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and then Triple H interferes, eliminates Roman Reigns, gets down to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. He pedigrees Seth and Kevin Owens eliminates Rollins for the victory. I think that would have been just as impactful and maybe would have made the match a little more entertaining rather than the slow start that we got to this one. As I said, I didn't agree with the crowd at the early stages. This was awesome. I certainly did at the end, though. I certainly did at the end. Cool. SmackDown tonight, obviously. So yeah, it's all happening. Big result. Can't wait to see what KO's got to say. Can't wait to see what Triple H's got to say, or Seth, for that matter. Thanks a lot for watching. Really do appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't. Give the video a like if you liked it. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Wrestling Days UK. And hopefully, I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.